is way too much damage. Stop him with the block! He found charge shield!
and he found
wow.
Wow.
Oh, what? He gets out!
Somewhere there's a covert muffin just applauding this seed.
Holy crap.
Oh man, this is gonna come down to execution in the final escape, isn't it?
Sure is.
Every seed
Our
does.
favorite phrase.
Hello, Speed Gaming. Welcome back to the Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition Randomizer Tournament 2021. We are officially in the top 8, and today we have Game 2 of our lower bracket Round 6 match between Sirius and Tritonite, two of our absolute top seeds of this tournament. We're in for a real good one today, folks. Game 1 did go to Sirius, so today, if Sirius does take this second game, he will progress on into the lower bracket. However, if Tritonite does take this victory, it will go to a Game 3, which will be scheduled at a later date. My name is Romulus, and today I am joined by none other than our very own Zemsis. Zem, how are you doing today?
Oh, hey, Romulus, I'm doing great. I'm coming fresh from D&D, and if I've learned one thing, then that our runners are absolutely not gonna do whatever the seed wants them to do. Instead, we have, as you mentioned, two absolute top runners here who are able to pull off the craziest of strats to just push a seed to the finish the moment they get for a go mode. So I think we're gonna have a really good game too here.
Absolutely. This is going to be another banger, as most of our matches in this tournament have been so far, honestly. And before today's match, we were able to chat real quick with our runners, get an idea of where their heads were at and what they had for breakfast. And because that's the most important part, is what they have for breakfast. And Tritonite, we were able to chat with him. He says he hasn't been able to play a ton lately, so he's maybe not quite as, up to snuff, but he's still feeling pretty decent about today's match. He is feeling maybe a little uncomfortable with the fact that it's not wall starved. That is his preferable seed style way to play, but he will still be doing fine, I'm sure. And as for Tritonite's breakfast, he did mention earlier that he had some muesli as well as peanut butter and a bunch of coffee. So he is ready and raring to go. Now, what about Sirius?
Oh, that coffee might just make the difference. I know Sirius has been busy with mozzarella tomatoes and some bread, so there's no coffee involved here, no caffeine. That means maybe those two focus points aren't quite enough, but back to the seed. Sirius has obviously been able to pull out some amazing stuff no matter what kind of seed we have here, but he is really hoping that we're finally getting one of those grenade jump show-offs that he loves so much. Early grenade jumps, not only a crowd favorite, but also a runner favorite. Both of these runners very comfortable with that, so I'm hoping that's what we're gonna see. But it looks like we are about to get ready to start this race. Both of our runners are being in the countdown at this very moment. So, Romulus, here's the question as the timer is ticking down to 0. What's the first pickup going to be?
First pickup is going to be Forlorn Teleporter. You heard it here first. What do you think, Zem? What do you think it's going to be?
A follow-on teleporter, that sounds amazing. I'm all for it. No, it's going to be obviously Horror Teleporter, and then we realized we wrote the wrong seed. Jokes aside, I hope we are getting one of those jet seeds that then end up in an entire Mapstone 9 hunt. That's always fun to see, getting runners to actually clear up most of the map. But we are both wrong. It's just the keystone, so it's looking up to be the classic 2 keystone start here.
Indeed. Of course, most seeds will start out, getting those 2 early keystones, heading over through glades, and, collecting a bunch of stuff that you don't really need a lot of abilities to do over towards the wall jump tree area. And you see our runners here approaching our next pickup, and we see it's actually a valley teleporter. That's a bit of an interesting find, huh, Sam?
Oh wow, yeah, that valley teleporter, that sure does that kind of makes room or makes way for one of those very fast seeds, because our runners are no longer locked behind Stomp or Bash to access the left side of the map, already having the Valley Teleporter. That means if we actually get that grenade jump seed, this one could be really, really fast, just being able to go straight to that. But that's for later. We still need actual skills to progress here, and so far it is 2 more checks in that first set of checks that can give us either the skill we need or the keystone we need to progress into left gates. And indeed, it is a keystone, so keystone doors unlocked. We're gonna see fake flipper soon, but otherwise it's just gonna be a lot more checks here in the starting area of the game.
Yes, and of course we don't really need a whole lot to do a lot of these checks. However, our runners will be hoping for some additional movement abilities, something like a dash, some wall interaction, maybe a nice charge jump. And so we'll see what our first progression skill will be here in a moment. It is in fact wall jump. Wall jumps start pretty typical. Wall jump is, of course, the first ability that you find in the game normally. So I'm sure our runners aren't too terribly surprised to see this.
Yes, it isn't a wall stuff seed, so this kind of start is the usual stuff you're gonna get. Try to probably pretty annoyed about it right about now, since volume starts kind of have this tendency to just give you something like a grenade and make you go all the way across the spider sack area into the right side of the map and just check things for 20-30 minutes. But we still have only one skill, and the next skill might as well be something more interesting. Maybe a dash or a charge jump that lets us go into Blackroot. So far, our runners have already found the water vein, so one dungeon key out of the way, as well as the Valley Teleporter. Try to having a bit of trouble with the baby iceless here that lets you skip pulling the rock has to do that instead. That means Sirius will go ahead by a few seconds, nothing too major, but at this level any second might matter.
Indeed. A little bit unfortunate, Trito struggling with that movement just a little bit. Not a huge deal, though. Still very early on in this seed, so, still anybody's game here as we're approaching our first skill tree, the wall jump tree. Of course, we're going to be needing to collect, or at least visit, all 10 spirit tree locations before progressing on to the final escape. We do see a keystone here, nothing too terribly significant. But yeah, we're going to need 10 total of these trees. And once we reach tree number 3, tree number 6, and tree number 9, we'll be getting a hint, as you can see there on Trito's side of the screen. However, we already have the water vein, so that's one key down that we're going to need. We're only going to need to also find the sunstone.
Yes, water vein and sunstone obviously being hard required to finish any seed, mostly because sunstone locks the final escape and the end of the game behind it, while the water vein just has a tree inside of the Ginso tree, so we do need to visit that yet. Sirius doing his signature save anywhere, skipping the tree cutscene at wall jump tree will put him about another 4 seconds ahead here. So he's going to be the first one into Blackroot. Both runners having 4 HP, which means there is it is allowed to slip up a bit here in the BRB spike pit as long as you do it on one of the edges, but I don't think with the wall jump start that's something we're going to see here. So far, Sirius not having problems traversing the room at all, getting up to this wall, and now we're back to checking things. It is just a keystone. Out we go. Oh, and Trito, however, does actually slip up only on 3 HP, so he will take that death from the spike pit.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate movement there from Trito, but he's still, right on Sirius's tail. This is still very early on in the seed, and only having wall jump, there's not a ton of room for optimizing movement, particularly. Uh, of course, if we get something like dash, that of course will break the game wide open in terms of being able to go quickly. And I'm sure that's what our runners, both of them, probably want to see here. And we do see Sirius, he's making his way throughout the rest of this Blackroot area. We're going to need to visit this area no matter what, and it's a bit slow no matter what kind of moveset you have, so our runners opting to come here early on is of course very valid. We do also have a couple keystones. We have 4 on each side. That is more than enough to access Spirit Caverns over towards Glades. We actually see a 5th keystone there on Sirius' side. And once we enter into that Spirit Caverns area, it's another nice dense area with a lot of pickups, where hopefully we'll find some more progression.
Yes, indeed, and the keystone counts really hinting at progression being around that sea flame area. Of course, you always wish as a runner to find some form of blue breakage so you can skip opening the upper 4 keystone door, conserving those 4 keystones in the later game. But with a start like this just might not be possible. So far, our runners haven't gotten even that second energy cell, so they couldn't sequence break into the right side of the map if they wanted to. Let's see if that changes soon. There's an importance check coming up on Sirius side here behind the Crushers. A bit of a knowledge info check once he gets past this mapstone is uniquely locked by Dash, but it's just a half, so no knowledge gain. But that very, very important 5th health cell is gotten now for Sirius. Also getting his 6th keystone, can now go all the way to Charge Flame Dream if he wants to. And while the skill set is looking still very bleak for our runners with just the wall jump, they sure do get everything else they need for a quick finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Finding that 5th health cell is very nice. Both our runners are talented enough where they could probably finish off the seed with this amount of health if they really wanted to. Of course, we'll probably find some more as we go along. So, yeah, we'll see where our runners decide to go from here. Of course, there's only that one specific path, really, unless we find something significant here at this next pickup on Sirius's side that we'll be checking here in just a moment. It is just another keystone, so our runners are going to have to go into Spirit Caverns. However, doing a clever little save anywhere trick right there, or actually just by avoiding that boulder.
They
Nice
never
setup
get
with the
tired
save.
of Sirius doing that. Probably the only runner who actually goes for that RTA. You can, with a very, very precise set of wall jumps, just jump over the boulder without spending an ability point, which means he gets to use that now to skip this cutscene. Also getting charge jump behind
Wow.
this trouble. And since this is charge jump at the boulder escape, that means it will be either dash or bash nade, which will lead to here. Early dash now a potential thing our runners can think about. Interesting enough, Sirius opting to skip the right side. Above Frankie Walk XP with his newly found charge jump might come for that back later if he ever decides to do a Frankie Walk or glitch into Death Gauntlet in another fashion. That can always happen later. Remember that the charge jump is out of logic, so our runners are obviously not gonna care about that and still use it. But oh, the climb blocked
Ooh.
behind the charge jump. That's 2 out of 3 and still out of logic. So let's see what the actual skill is that the seed does want to give our runners, because if this is like grenade or dash, things are gonna get really fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Finding both those skills out of logic is super duper nice, but might be a little tricky for our runners to kind of piece together in their head, what the intended progression is. But our runners both, having a ton of rando experience, I'm sure that's going to be pretty insignificant issue. And there's actually dash there at the top
Yeah.
left keystone here in Spirit Caverns. That's a big find.
Yeah, that is. There's the dash that puts the charge jump into logic, that puts the climb into logic. So everyone who was hoping for the grenade, do not fear yet, because those don't open up that much stuff on the map actually. All that climb, sea jump. Yeah, we have the lower area in Blackroot, can go to grenade tree and all that, but otherwise there is not that much open. So we're probably gonna see a 5th skill very, very soon, and it might just be that grenade. Maybe if our runners have the lucky stars of the random gods shine on them down. Now try to also picking up a station with Sirius with the nice climb charge jump into the Steve Flame Tree. Gets his first clue, and we're getting the Sunstone clue first. The Sunstone is in Misty. That's probably fine, but there is one case where it is the exact opposite.
Ooh, and there's Glide actually on Sirius's end as well. That's a very, very comfy moveset that we have right now. We have a lot of skills to be able to traverse throughout Valley and in through Misty as well with the Charge, Jump, Climb, and Glide. I'm sure our runners are going to be very comfortable with this moveset heading over to find that Sunstone in Misty. However, like you said, there's a chance that our Sunstone could be locked behind Grenade, which would be unfortunate. There is that one pickup in Misty that does require Grenade, but beyond that, our runners can check pretty much everything over there. They might consider this a soft go mode.
Yes, indeed. And it's interesting to see how different our runners actually approach the series. Wants to actually track down that last skill, find whatever he can. Meanwhile, Trito taking that dash immediately and saying, wait, if I wait with this, if I wait until I have charge dash, this will allow me to skip the 4 keystone door, keep those keystones and go through Sea Flame Tree from the other side. So he's instead opting to just take it down and go the other route, has finished his logical progression chain back at that climb C jump and can now head into lower black route with this. I really like this play.
I really do too. This is a very heads-up play from Trito, taking his 2 energy as well as being very close to a level up with that Frankie over to open up the Death Gauntlet door for later, but then realizing, wait, I have dash, I have ground breakage with that climb and charge jump. There's probably something down here in lower black route. However, not finding anything quite yet. There's still a few more checks that we can do, and then as well as the grenade tree as well. When there's actually Stomp, wow, that's really big.
Yeah, that Stomp actually is probably the next bit of progression. Both opens up the valley entry area and does allow a lot of other things for our runners. But I would assume, yes, indeed, Trito is gonna go back down, will probably get his grenade tree. Also, he can then spend his ability points that he has gotten on the track. And if you get dash this early, you actually don't have charge dash yet, so this is the kind of time where you're really, really happy to find any ability sets that you can kind. On the left side, we see Sirius also now opting to get the Frankie Walk as soon as his XP was set up correctly for it, will now be heading into the grotto area here and finds a bunch of XP underwater, so probably no clean water for our runners in this seed. Might happen, will probably not, and we know if they don't find the clean water with this kind of a skill set, they actually need more health. They won't be able to complete the final escape on 5 HP unless they actually find the bash here. Will need 6 or 6 in some region, something like that. And yeah, with this, try to now skilling all the way to air dash here at the grenade tree, can get this tree out of the way. Sirius, on the other hand, on the left side, now sets up the save anywhere. Nope, decides against it. Goes for the Kuro kill plane skip. Gets that first try, so now the kill plane will not be able to kill him. However, the moment he dies or reloads the game, that kill plane is back and the cutscene used for the stack is gone. So let's see what he decides to do with that. Goes to see that, will probably just jump up with that and get the next trees. We're just seeing such aggressive play on both sides here.
Yeah, I'm really liking this. Both are runners, deciding to, go as far as they can and try to take the most quick approach to finishing off this seed. We're only 3 trees in, but I'm sure the final escape and the end of the run is already on both of our runners' minds. They just think that far ahead. And Trito actually coming over here towards Grotto. He's going to activate that teleporter real quick. He kind of retraced Sirius's steps a little bit, but it looks like he's going to be heading up in towards the upper Grotto area, potentially over towards Swamp.
Yeah,
He
I
does
wouldn't
find the
be
Beeline
surprised
skill.
at all. He just finally got his charge dash, so from now on he's able to break those plans here on the way. And there's a tree in Swamp, there's the Storm Tree right there, there's a tree in Lower Grotto, and now that he's Sea Flame, he can go get the Sea Flame tree and the glide tree that Sirius has already gotten. There are a lot of options on the platter for Trito now that he finally got that C dash, and he will have that 4 keystone advantage. And in a seat like this where you just wanna go, right? You have all these fast skills, you don't wanna check anything, but that also means you're not gonna have a lot of resources, and keystones are always a problem in this kind of seat. So he will be needing to do less dupes or can even go into some areas earlier by just keeping those 4 keystones.
Yeah, keystones are definitely a very important resource, as we need a couple here on Trito's side to open up this door, as well as, 4 once we head up into the Ginzo tree, and most likely going to need 4 after we get into Dorito Cave up towards the Charge Jump tree. And it looks like Trito is going to come all the way over here towards the Stomp tree. I like this play a lot. He's able to get these right side trees done, since with that Stomp find earlier that we actually just see Sirius collect on the left side of your screen there, that more or less opens up a ton of stuff on the right side of the map. So Trito deciding, I'm going to just, take my resources that I have now, clear as much as I can on the right side, I think this is a good call.
Yes, indeed, and he is showing off some incredible staircans and stair over the spikes too, very nice. But so far, of course, Sirius does have the glide that was below Sea Flame Tree, but that lead is not gonna stay there for long. As Tryto now with his C-Dash can go the lower path, glide basically unmissable. He also gets to check the plant, but that's just the mapstone. Don't think we're gonna see a lot of mapstone turn in this. And both of our runners basically at the same time getting their 5th trees while having entirely different tree counts. We're having that storm tree on one side, the glide on the other side. These are very different routes, but so far tree counts are keeping par on both sides. Okay, Tryto going back, doesn't want to leave that Death Gauntlet plant behind at all. Bit of trouble here with getting this, but alright, has this now. Now it is time for our runners to head into Grotto. Sirius taking the route by stomping the Grotto pack, as Tryto is a bit on the more through side actually. Nope, never mind, will not skip the bridge cutscene, so he is the first one to be in Grotto. Let's see how much he checks. He got his 6th health, so at the Storm Tree technically he can just go mode this, but will actually be getting some extra pickups here. XP value is kinda high, so that's always nice on the resource front. But with this, yeah, try to skipping most of left side Grotto, this might just be the thing that this aggressiveness, this skipping pickups, that decides races in such a fast seed.
Yeah, with this sort of skill set from our runners, it's definitely understandable to decide, you know what, I'm feeling pretty comfortable with what I have. I'm just going to take this all the way, get the rest of the trees. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, Zem, but I'm pretty sure Tryto can finish the final escape with the amount of health and the skill set that he has right now.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about the elemental room on this particular skill set, if that is done damageless or not. Would need to check that up, but it is definitely enough to survive the poison swim with some good swimming and non-murderous fishes. So it's really just about getting that out of the way. Tryto coming back into the grotto area will now probably be taking his way into the direction of Swamp TP. There is quite a bit of density on the way, and we're gonna need that Swamp TP at some point of the seed anyway. So this is always a way, a direction you can go in. Opts to do blind movement while continuing to go for that ultra defense. We're gonna see full blue tree here. That's always nice. Get some more health on, or gets even more health. This is exactly what he wants to see in this area. Now heading over towards either Ginsu or Swamp TP, probably both, and opting to clean up the entire right side of the map before looking towards the left.
Yeah, this is really, really excellent play from Tryto. Doing all of that movement blind, getting all the way up to this boulder push. And he's still going to be checking some things along the way, some pickups that don't take too long to get, but he's really thinking that he needs to progress towards these trees as quickly as he can. And of course, the one thing on their minds still might be that one final grenade pickup in Misty that could potentially be locking our Sunstone. But beyond that, I'm sure they're feeling pretty comfortable with all these nice movement abilities and good amounts of resources that they have.
Yeah, but if it actually turns out to be the grenade lock pickup, try to at least has access to the Fallen escape, having that Gumon seal, so he would be able to go check that. Obviously, it's still a gigantic time loss to do the entirety of Misty Trials, but that's just how it be sometimes. So far, try to now just a tiny bit ahead on that tree collection, as Sirius is still collecting some pickups. Now also gets his Gumons here, so that won't be the deciding factor, but obviously it still can come up. Let's hope the seed does not actually come down to a random grenade find, because that would always be a bit sad to see. Now heading up to the Ginso mini boss, only has one energy. Never mind, there's the energy crystal, so can do the quick kill. That's nicely done as well. Sirius also pushing trees. Trees is just the name of the game here right now.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Both are runners deciding, I want to just get as many trees as they possibly can. And Tryto having, after this Ginzo tree here, he will have all of his right side trees completely done. which, Sirius will be kind of a little bit lagging behind on his right side trees, but he does have the advantage of already getting the feather, quote-unquote, tree completed. And after Tritonite collects this pickup here at the Ginzo tree, within the Ginzo tree, he's going to altar here after probably collecting this. Yep, and it's going to be left side for him.
Yes, and now comes the power of Sirius doing his blind movement. That's a good camera right there, but that's just what happens if you do this form of blind movement at trees sometimes. It will probably fix itself once that teleport animation is done. Yep, there we go. We can actually see again. Sirius kinda retracing Triton's steps here, but as you mentioned before, he does already have the feather, of course. So what Triton is doing here is and something that Sirius has already done. Also got his cutscene skip and has 9 health, so I would not assume him to die to getting all the way to the feather tree. Now setting up for the rocket jump. Alright, up we go. Do we get in range? Yes, we do. 2 rocket jumps right here. Feather falling down as Kuro gets hit by a gigantic mass of rocks. This will be tree number 8, and what do you think? Is Trito just gonna go for Misty? Hope it's not a grenade lock pickup, or are we gonna see Sorrow first?
That's a very good question. Both plays are valid, I would say. Trito is very close to entering Misty here. However, on the off chance that it is that one grenade locked pickup, entering into go towards the charge jump tree is also a valid play. But it looks like, yeah, he is going to go over here into Misty's. Very nice stair cancels there. And he's going to be, of course, needing to check everything along the way to try and find this Sunstone pickup. And he's really going to hope he finds it early so he can just skip the rest of the pickups.
Man, those stairs at the family just annihilating their movement. That is so hard. Unlike with the usual storm cancels, you don't get to just press jump and be done with it. Not losing a bunch of height on those stair cancels is incredibly hard, but Trito loves that trick and doesn't have any problems with it so far. So far, no Sunstone here in Misty, so we're just the more we find, the more we hope it's not the grenade lock pickup, but or maybe we do hope it is, but Trito sure doesn't want it to be grenade lock, but there's still more than enough pickups to go. There it is, the Sunstone, that is full go mode for our runners. Very nice. Gets its ultra defense, so there won't be any health problems at all entering the final escape. There's really just one minor obstacle left for our runners, which is getting into Sorrow, which will be a bit precise since our runners don't have any form of area verticality, no bash, no double jump here to get them through that corner without damage boosting. But they can take the 2 required charge jump damage boost, so I think this will be very fine. So far, Trito about 1 tree ahead, just that Misty ahead of Sirius. Or will Sirius actually go up to the banana stand, go check more things here?
Oh, it looks like he is. This is an interesting call. Wonder if he still has that grenade pickup on his mind, or if he just feels like, something could be up here since Water Vein was found so early in our seed right now.
Yeah, this seed became very hard to read the moment Storm was found, with just how much that opened on all of the right side of the map. Might want to find something, and it's the Sorrow teleporter up on the banana stand. That's huge. This is no longer as clear as it looks. That will save so much time for Sirius if he just gets up there fast enough. But still, Trito is clearly in the lead, has the glide, so Sorrow isn't a problem from this side either. Will now be approaching on his last tree. It's just charge jump tree between him and Horu, and that is right around the corner, and Sirius still needs 2 entire trees, getting also to charge jump tree and then doing the entirety of Misty. So at this point, it really comes down to can try to do this final escape, and I'm inclined to say yes, this won't be a problem.
I agree. I think this will be more or less a pretty clear path towards the end of the game here for Trito. We do see Sirius approaching this charge jump tree here. This will be tree number 9. He just needs to head over into Misty, find that Sunstone, get his 10th tree, and then he will be good to go as well. But it definitely looks like Trito has the lead here. We'll just have to see how this final escape execution goes.
Yeah, we are exactly one Misty apart at that charge jump tree after the racing. So really close race in total, but this is just a jet steal, and those extra checks coming back to bite Sirius a bit here. Now Try Tonight heading over to Horror Fields, has 10 HP and Ultra Defense. HP probably not the limiting factor here. The 4 energy being way more scary than the HP pool. Really plays it safe in Horror Fields. Yes, he does. That means needs to do some stair cancels. Takes that one shot, but recovers with a glide without a problem. Now going up to the final door for Ru. It is door warp time indeed, and let's see if he can nail that trick.
A very nice execution from Trito over there throughout Horu Fields. He definitely loves showing off those stair cancels, and he's really, really good at them. So nice job from him. Meanwhile, Sirius, in the midst of Misty, he's going to be finding his Sunstone here in pretty short order. And then, you know, he's going to head over, get his tree, and then follow right behind Trito. Meanwhile, Trito, get in that door warp real quick. He's going to be starting his final escape here. The end is in sight.
Yes, indeed. The bird swooping down is trying to activate one. One would not be skipped here today with that kind of energy count. That's not the times that you wanna go for 297 XP. Well, that won't help at all anymore. But off we go. Meteors raining from the sky. That's already 2 energy down here for Try Tonight. Will need to conserve that quite a bit. Only has 2 more charge dashes. Now uses 1 more. That's 1 energy left, but now into the elemental room. Let's see, are we gonna see the damage boost version? Yes, 1 damage boost in the flames. Out we are into the S room. Can do this with 2 dashes. Doesn't get the down ramp, but still with that stomp, there is no timer constraint at all here. Just needs to get through the swim, jump over the Kuro cutscene Springer bombs, but still enough. Now all the way up, climb up the wall, back onto the wall we go, jump up, and GG try to tying it 1-1 here in this race. Alright, and meanwhile, Sirius now heading over on his way to the left side to that final escape. Will be seeing Try to finishing in just about half a minute, so probably also the nerves seeing as you approach Haru without someone finishing. Yep, there it is. Takes a bit of a plunge, misses the elemental there for the stomp bounce, but at this point it won't really matter. There gets almost a stair cancel here, instead using the glide to don't lose any height. Back up we go with the energy count and through Horror Fields. Let's see if Sirius decides to take a safety save on the second pass through. Nope, we are not taking any safety saves. 1 more energy is all we need, so we can actually do that without the stair cancel, and to the horror door we go. And what do you think, Rominus? Is it going to be another door warp here, or are we gonna see some violence now that Trito is holding right to finish the scene?
I'm pretty sure Sirius will go for door warp here, give it a good couple attempts. Maybe after that, if he doesn't get it, he'll probably go for violence, but I still feel like he'll go for door warp. Meanwhile, Trito finishing up the seed 29-12, and he will be seeing in the race time room that he is the victor in today's race, tying up the series 1-1 as Sirius begins his final escape here. Excellent job, Trito. We look forward to seeing Game 3.
Yeah, that's gonna be so exciting. Try to here pulling off the sub 30. This is either the only one or one of 2 restreamed sub 30s in this tournament, if I remember correctly. So that's just an incredible time. But let's actually see what Sirius is doing. Off we go. Also really constrained on that energy. Only has 3 compared to Tritus 4. So he will need to be quite careful. Now tries to cancel that, but drops the cancel, does not catch the ward, so that means 1 damage boost down. Still has more than enough health to do 1 more, but now the poison swim starts to look really scary on that low of an HP amount. Could go for a time level up, no, will instead drop down. Let's see if it is enough. Oh, that's looking scary. This tick will kill him. No, the extra damage from the first fire taking Sirius life here delayed in the poison swim.
Unfortunate there. Looked like he would be very close to getting that level up. Meanwhile, the Rock blocking his way out there. He's going to have to take a different path to get through the rest of this lantern room. Makes no problem out of it, though. Nice job, Sirius, making a nice little quick backup there. Gonna be getting this damage boost here correctly that time. Very, very nice. Oh, accidentally steps into the fire. Wonder, he still probably could pull this off if he gets this experience from the fish properly. No,
Those
it's not
fish have
quite
like
enough.
no XP at all, but it's barely enough health. Romulus can get through this. Now there's one more scary thing here. Rocks raining down from the sky, and we all know how they like to catch unsuspecting Aries. But Sirius getting through will be about, I want to say, about 3.5 minutes behind Ryder here. GG, very good showing.
Very good indeed. That race was super close throughout almost the entire thing, which is absolutely what you want to see between two runners this closely matched in terms of skill. You know, we saw them sync up on tree number 5 and tree number 7, I think. And, you know, really the lead only started to grow for Trito during those last couple trees throughout Misty. So excellent job by both runners. And we're going to be hoping to get our runners in for an interview here in just a moment. We do have Tritonite on deck. We're going to go ahead and pull him in real quick. There he is, Trito. GG, my friend. 29-12, an excellent time. How are you feeling about your performance?
I played the early game really poorly, but the late game was very good.
Yeah, your late game with all those stair cancels, definitely, you know, a nice showcase of your abilities. Excellent job. And meanwhile, we also have Sirius on deck. We're going to go ahead and pull him in as well. GG, Sirius, how are you feeling about your performance that seed?
Thank you. It was definitely a difficult seed to play. I'm not too unhappy by my standards. Yeah, I think I played that pretty well for, well, my skill cap at dash seeds.
It was a very close match between both of you throughout the entirety of the seed. We saw you guys sync up on collecting a number of trees. It was about tree number 5 and tree number 7. We saw you guys get them at the same time. It was really interesting though to see your route divergence, but how you still managed to kind of maintain the same progression through the seed. So I want to ask you guys about that. Sirius, we'll start with you. What was your thoughts about going into Valley at the time that you did?
The first time I went into Valley was mostly a stall, which means I was trying to do something useful while thinking about the correct next step. There was also one possibility. I collected a certain ability cell, the Bird Stomp cell we call it, that I think was in Logic at that time, which could have been progression, in which case that could have been a great play. But yeah, mostly it was stall to think about what is the correct next move to do.
Gotcha. And then Trito, how about you? Instead of going over to Valley with that Valley teleporter, you decided to head over and clear up the rest of your right side trees before going over and getting those left side trees. What's your thought process behind that when you decided to head over, especially towards the stomp tree?
Well, with Climb and Sea Jump, I was kind of hoping to find Sorrow TP, which probably was the intended progression considering Sea Flame was its Sea Jump tree. But
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I was kind of just hoping to find Grenade actually to get Grenade jumps.
yeah, we ended up not seeing Grenade, but we did see where the Sorrow teleporter was. It was actually up towards the banana stand in Ginzo tree. We did see Sirius get that when he was in Ginzo. So, all right.
Yeah, makes sense.
Zempsis. Yeah. Zempsis, do you have any questions for our runners?
Yeah, I actually have one more question here for both of us. At what point, we saw you start skipping a major portion of the pickups at different times actually. At what point was it full go mode? Was it looking out for health and ultra defense, or was it something else? Maybe starting with you, Trito, since you went into go mode earlier.
I didn't really have like a specific point because I was also a bit worried that Sunstone would be grenade locked, so I was just checking quick stuff on the way to trees, and then just rush left side. And as soon as I found Sunstone, I just leveled up to Ultra Defense and didn't worry about any pickups anymore.
Indeed, and that worked out just fine, getting the second sub 30, still the only one with a restream sub 30 here. But meanwhile, you Sirius, you were digging around for quite a bit longer. Was it also worry about the potential grenade locked Sunstone, or did you just want more resources, or what were you doing there?
It was mostly the need for ultra defense on my side, since I don't think that final escape would have been possible for me to do without ultra defense. By the time I got all the skills I needed, I was on very low health and very far away from it, so it was just a lot of collection needed to ultimately grab ultra defense and, well, then the Sunstone and then go finish the game.
Yep, and a very fast seat it was. Romeus, do you have any more questions?
I don't have any more questions for our runners, but I do want to tell both of you that we had a great time watching this second game, and we really look forward to having both of you on here for game number 3 that will decide where the bracket will continue from there. So GG's and excellent job on your play. We're looking forward to seeing you guys again soon.
GG's.
And with that, we're going to be wrapping up this broadcast, but I urge you to not go anywhere just yet. Well, we have a little bit of a break before our next match. We do have a match coming up here in about an hour and 15 minutes, still on this channel. This will be Cleanfell versus Jamal, which is our upper bracket semifinal, which will be a best of 3, and that starts at 2 p.m. And we're going to be having all 3, potentially 3 games broadcast today, all throughout the rest of this afternoon or evening, wherever it is that you might be. So I urge you to come back here, like I said, in about an hour and 15 minutes for the start of that series. And with that, I would just like to take a quick moment and thank our trackers, Lion, as well as Turtle Guy. And I'd like to thank Griffs, our restreamer, doing an excellent job, and as well as Zempsis, my co-commentator.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Anytime.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and call it there. So like I said, don't go anywhere, folks, but we look forward to seeing you again soon.